Hey guys, how are you today? Quick rant before we dive into today's chaos. As some of you might have noticed, YouTube's algorithm has decided I'm not special anymore. Shocking, I know. So now if you don't like, comment, or do a little backflip in the algorithm's honor, this video might just vanish into the void, never to be seen again. Seriously though, even a hi or "this is wild" in the comments helps way more than you think. It tells YouTube, hey, people actually like this channel. Maybe don't hide it from everyone. That can really help push my videos out to a wider audience, not just to my subscribers. So if you enjoy these stories and want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. Now grab a drink, get comfy, and enjoy the drama. You won't want to miss this one. I'm 15 years old. That's the part people seem to forget when they talk about what happened. I'm still a kid, even if I don't feel like one anymore. Every family has that relative, the one who never grows up, the one who thinks every situation is a chance to make a joke, get a laugh, or poke fun at someone. For us, that person is my Uncle Brad. He's my dad's older brother, and he's always been the self-appointed family clown. He'll crack jokes about people's weight, relationships, jobs, hairlines, acne, whatever he can get a reaction out of. And the thing is, it used to be kind of funny when I was little. I didn't always get the jokes, but everyone else would laugh, so I thought it was normal. But over the years, I started realizing most of his jokes weren't harmless. They were just mean. And when you told him to stop, he wouldn't. In fact, he'd double down and say things like, "What? Can't take a joke?" Or "Toughen up, snowflake." I can't count how many times I've heard him say, "You're too sensitive," when someone got upset. Anyway, this past Christmas, we were all at Uncle Brad's house for dinner. It was a big family gathering. All the usual relatives were there: aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents. I had been dreading it all week because I knew he'd be in full jokester mode with so many people around. But I didn't expect it to blow up like this. Everything was mostly fine until halfway through the day. I was just sitting on the couch playing on my phone when suddenly I noticed a few of my cousins giving me these weird looks, like glares. One of my aunts walked past and didn't even respond when I said hi. Another adult whispered something and glanced at me. I had no idea what was going on. Then, my dad pulled me aside and asked me if I had taken money from someone. I said no, and he looked confused and asked again. Apparently, Uncle Brad had told several people that he caught me taking $200 from his wallet. I was floored. I would never steal, ever. I didn't even know where his wallet was. I had been in the living room the entire time. My parents went into full defense mode. My mom demanded that Brad clarify what he meant, and that's when he laughed and said it was just a joke. He hadn't actually accused me. He was just pulling my leg. Only it wasn't funny, because by then, half the room already thought I was a thief. Some people had already whispered to others. A few people apologized after my parents cleared it up. But not everyone. There were still cousins and relatives giving me side-eye for the rest of the evening. Like, maybe I did it. Like, maybe I got away with it. And Brad. He didn't apologize. He just said something like, "Come on, kid. Don't be so uptight. You know I'm just messing around." The rest of the evening was ruined for me. I didn't eat much dinner. I didn't laugh at anyone's stories. I mostly sat quietly and tried not to cry because I was so embarrassed and angry. I felt humiliated in a room full of people who were supposed to care about me. But Brad didn't stop. After dinner, when we were all sitting around the fireplace, he started back up again, joking about everyone's jobs, marriages, appearances. Someone told him to cut it out, but he just waved them off. Then he turned to me. He looked me up and down and smirked. And then, with his signature laugh, he said, "At least I don't look like a deformed gorilla in a school photo." And everyone went silent. A few people let out awkward laughs, probably out of habit. But it was quiet. I snapped. I had been sitting on something for months, something I didn't think I'd ever say out loud. But at that moment, all the frustration, all the humiliation, all the bitterness boiled over. I looked him dead in the eye and said, "At least I didn't have a 5-month affair behind my wife's back." The room went dead silent. You could hear a fork drop. People turned pale. Brad's smirk disappeared. His wife, my Aunt Michelle, looked like someone had knocked the wind out of her. She sat frozen for a few seconds before she looked at me and said, "What did you just say?" I didn't back down. I repeated myself and then told her I had proof. Let me explain how I knew. A few months ago, I accidentally saw Brad's phone light up while he was visiting our house. He had left it on the counter. A message from someone popped up. It was weirdly flirty, and the name wasn't Aunt Michelle's. I didn't think much of it at the time, but I remembered the name. A couple of weeks later, I overheard my dad arguing with my mom in the garage about how Brad was going to ruin everything, and that Michelle didn't deserve this. My mom told him to keep quiet, for the sake of the kids. I did what any teenager with internet access and curiosity would do. I looked up the name from the text. I found the woman. I found her public posts. I found a photo of her and Brad at a restaurant posted 5 months ago, and I took screenshots. I had them all saved. I never planned on saying anything. It wasn't my business. But when he called me a deformed gorilla in front of my entire family, after falsely accusing me of stealing money as a joke just hours earlier, I couldn't hold it in anymore. When Michelle asked for proof, I sent her everything right there at the table. She opened the screenshots and sat quietly, scrolling through them. She didn't say a word. She just stood up, picked up her purse, and walked out of the room. Brad ran after her, but she was gone. She left. Everyone sat there in stunned silence for a long time. Then people started whispering. Someone got up and said they had to go. One of my aunts started crying. It was chaos. I didn't say anything else. I got up and went to sit by the door until my parents were ready to leave. My dad looked like he wanted to murder someone. My mom was staring straight ahead, clenched jaw, saying nothing. We left. The next day, I woke up to a flood of messages. Some from family members who said I went too far, that I ruined Christmas, that I exposed a private matter, that I had humiliated a grown man in front of everyone. A couple of cousins told me I was immature and cruel. One uncle told my dad I should be grounded for publicly destroying someone's marriage. But not everyone was against me. Some relatives texted to say they were sorry for not speaking up sooner. A couple said they were glad someone finally stood up to Brad. A few thanked me for exposing the truth. One even told me they suspected something was off for months and had stayed quiet, and now they regret it. As for Michelle, she still isn't talking to anyone. She hasn't responded to messages. According to my mom, she packed a suitcase and left the house the next day and went to stay with her sister. She hasn't spoken to Brad since. No one knows if she's planning to file for divorce, but she did post a quote on Facebook about betrayal and healing, and changed her profile picture to one of just her and her dog. Brad hasn't said a word to me. My parents are fully on my side. They said they're proud of me for not letting myself be bullied. They told me I didn't do anything wrong, that Brad made his bed, and now he's lying in it. But some family members are still giving me the cold shoulder. Some haven't spoken to us since Christmas. A few relatives said they're distancing themselves until things calm down, whatever that means. So now I'm left wondering, did I go too far? Yes, Brad was cruel. Yes, he humiliated me. Yes, he accused me of stealing and called me names. But was I wrong for using that moment to air a family secret? Was I wrong to do it then? But the thing is, no one else was going to stop him. No one ever had. Everyone just let him steamroll people for years in the name of jokes and tradition. I was the only one who fought back. So, Reddit, am I the a-hole for exposing my uncle's affair at Christmas dinner after he humiliated me in front of the family? Not the a-hole. He falsely accused a 15-year-old of stealing $200, publicly humiliated OP with a disgusting insult, and then expected her to sit there and take it. All while his own dirty secret was bubbling under the surface. No, O didn't expose a private matter. OP exposed a hypocrite who never expected consequences. The fact that adults are more outraged by OP's reaction than his behavior is all OP needs to know about this family dynamic. And now let's hear community's opinion. You didn't ruin Christmas. He did. He ruined it when he weaponized a lie, turned the family against you, and then insulted your appearance like a bully in a middle school cafeteria. What you did wasn't cruel. It was righteous retribution. And let's be honest, if you hadn't said anything, the same people blaming you would have kept laughing at his jokes. Not the a-hole, and frankly, you might be the only emotionally mature person in that room. So let me get this straight. A grown man slanders a teenager as a thief, insults his appearance, and causes actual family tension. But the second he's held accountable for cheating on his wife, you're suddenly too harsh? Nah. They're just mad that the family peacemaker, you, refused to stay silent. You didn't break the family. You exposed the cracks they were already hiding. Not the a-hole. He was just joking as the universal shield for bullies who hate being called out. You gave him a taste of what it feels like to be humiliated in public, something he's done to everyone else for years. The difference? You had receipts. He got comfortable thinking no one would challenge him. But you did, and you did it with precision. Not the a-hole, and good for you for breaking the cycle of silence. I'm trying to keep this short. So me, 27 male, and my girlfriend, 25 female, have been together 4 months now, and her family lives in a different city. This weekend, her mom visited our city, and we met for the first time. She seemed very nice, and I offered her to stay in my house. Me and my girlfriend don't live together, but she spends a lot of time in my house. On Saturday, I caught her snooping around my house, and when I asked her what she was doing, she answered she was making sure I had nothing to hide. She had gone through all my drawers and closets, and was going through my gaming room when I caught her. I got mad at her and started yelling that she has no right to go through my stuff, even though I don't have nothing to hide. My girlfriend heard me yelling and came to see what was going on, and then she started to defend her mom. I finally said she can go to girlfriend's apartment or get a hotel for the rest of her stay, and now my girlfriend is mad at me and calling me an a-hole for kicking her mom out. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. No guest should be invading your privacy like that. As for your girlfriend, that's a red flag, defending her mother for snooping around. If she believes that's okay, she probably believes it's okay for her to do it as well. Not the a-hole. What audacity from your girlfriend's mother, and your girlfriend isn't far behind. Your girlfriend should have removed her mother from the situation rather than stand there and try to defend her poor behavior. Update. I talked with her and she didn't know what was going on when I started yelling. Then we talked about if she has gone through anything and she denied. I said I'm going to need some time to trust her fully because of her mother's actions, and she started flipping, so I broke up with her. Luckily, she didn't have keys to my house, but like someone suggested, I'm going to change locks just in case. And nothing seems to be stolen. Nothing valuable or containing personal info was in those drawers and closets. I keep all my bills, jewelry, medicine, etc. in a safe or locked drawer. So, let's start off with my parents. They make good money, always have. One thing they've never done well: manage the money. Anytime they get a raise or come into some money, they have to spend it all. They have a crazy amount of credit card debt. They have always been the type of people to have the latest and greatest things. For example, last year we bought my husband a used car. A couple years old, but a nice car. We got a great deal on it. It is fully loaded with everything you can ever want, but we got it for about $3,000 less than market value. We bought it off of my in-laws. Immediately my dad, who already has 3 cars, started looking into buying one. My mom became rational and told him no, that he didn't need it, especially fully loaded. Good job, Mom. A couple months ago, my car was dying. To fix it would cost way more than the car was worth. We did our research and I got a used black. Trust me, color is important to this part of the story. GMC Terrain. Again, we got a great deal because my husband's uncle works for the dealership where we got it. Well, a month later, my dad texts me and tells me he's trading in his car for a new one. I asked him what kind of car, and he sends me a link. A black GMC Terrain, 2 years newer. I asked him, "You trying to copy me, Dad?" To which he responded, "I can't let you have nicer cars than me." He said it jokingly, but there is truth to it. So recently, my parents have come into a lot of money. My mom won a large settlement against her former employer for wrongful termination, and my dad's mother passed, so he is getting a large inheritance. So, lots of money. Now, on to my sister. My bipolar personality disorder narcissistic sister. I hate to even call her my sister, honestly. She was aggressive to me physically and emotionally from the time I was born. I cut her out of my life when I was 22 for 2 years. The only reason I brought her back was because she became pregnant. She was married for about 3 years and her husband left her for another woman. Was that crappy of him to do? Yes. But did she deserve it? Kinda, yeah. I saw her emotionally misuse him. Call him an idiot and worthless. She never took care of the house. Picture slightly better than hoarders. She refused to work even though they couldn't afford her not to work. And like my parents, she likes the latest and greatest things. Just didn't have the money for it, so they put themselves in crazy amounts of debt. So last year she got kicked out of the place she lived. She barely paid rent, but had an understanding landlord that helped her a lot. She barely paid any of her bills, as my grandma, mom, and dad paid for a lot of it, even her divorce lawyer. The thing that made the landlord kick her out was the condition that she left the house in. He was having none of that. So my parents took my sister and my niece in about a year ago. I had concerns. As I said, my sister is aggressive. This is the time in their lives my parents should be winding down and enjoying their lives together. She would blame them for all her troubles, yell at them if they didn't do what she wanted. I voiced that I was concerned for them emotionally, physically, and financially. They told me not to worry. They will put in rules for her to live there. She will pay some rent. She will not disrespect them. She will not disrespect me or my younger sister when we visit. She will clean up after herself. She will save money and get out ASAP, etc. Well, as you have probably figured, none of that happened. She would publicly bash them on Facebook if they said or did something she didn't like. Her room, a mess. Soda bottles, wine bottles, beer cans, trash, everywhere. She berates me and my younger sister all the time when we go there, and my parents let her. She spends her money on stupid crap and things she doesn't need. No rent was ever paid. Uses my niece as a pawn in her game. My parents pay for everything because she has no money. She has also had 3 jobs in the past year. She can't keep a job and keeps getting fired. It's never her fault, though. That was a sarcastic statement. Oh, and they are taking her on a Disney cruise and Disney trip soon. And my parents made a point to tell me and my younger sister that we aren't invited. Unfortunately, everything I said would happen has. Now, on to the issue. My parents call me all excited. Dad's friend from work is selling his mother's home. It's conveniently 2 minutes away from my parents' house. It's small, and they are thinking of doing a down payment for my sister to live there. The only reason they told me? My younger sister was told, and she said that if they didn't tell their power of attorney, me, by the end of the day, she will. Even the fact that I am the power of attorney over my older sister shows that my parents don't trust her. They told me and her that the reason they chose me was because they can't trust her to make it fair. Yet, they are thinking of doing this big thing for her. Now, I bought a house in October of last year. My husband and I saved, drove crappy cars, didn't go on vacations, rarely ate out for our down payment of our house. We did it all on our own, no help from anyone. They called me to tell me that what they would do is change their will to state that it comes out of her portion of the inheritance. I guarantee they won't do that. It really isn't about the money for me, honestly. I don't care if at the end of the day I get no money from them, as long as they spend it on each other, doing things they want. I also understand that they are miserable living with her. My parents are currently seeing a family therapist on how to deal with her. When they told me, I got scared. They are financially binding themselves to someone who they have bailed out constantly. Well, over $25,000 worth. I told them that I think this is the dumbest financial decision ever, and that I want to speak with their physician about it. For them to think that this is a smart move is completely mind-boggling, and something is not right. They said it's only the down payment. She will be doing the rest. I asked them what happens if my sister stops paying for the house. What then? They won't let her or my niece be homeless, so they are going to continue to make the payments. They gave the argument that they can put it in their name, to which I said, then they will never let it foreclose. Then there is this fact. If something breaks, my sister can't fix it. She can barely change a light bulb. What then? Are they going to go over there and fix everything for her? Who is going to mow the lawn? Who is going to shovel the driveway in the winter? Who is going to be the Mr. Fix-It? My dad. Guaranteed. He barely has time to do the things for his house, yet now he's going to have another one to take care of? He had a serious heart attack 2 years ago and had a bypass on 6 arteries. This isn't healthy for him, and Lord knows my mom can't do it. This is a mess. I told them that if she can afford a monthly mortgage, then she can afford rent. If they want to help her with a security deposit, fine, do it. But they will have no legally binding to it whatsoever. It's safer. They said I made a good point, but she has a dog. What place is going to take her with a dog? I said that my husband in my first apartment takes dogs, and it was $850 a month for a one-bedroom, one-den, one-bathroom home. That is enough space for them. That way, if anything breaks, they will fix it. Snow plowing, they do. Mowing, they do. Even garbage. No reason for her to get a house where my parents will become responsible for it. This is all blown up. My younger sister is engaged and refuses to have anything to do with my parents over it. I'm going to distance myself, that is for sure. I feel as though I can no longer trust them. I've never trusted them much before, but that's an even longer story. And I've lost respect for them. I've worked hard for everything I have. I'm proud of that. They say that they are proud of me. Yet they are enabling my sister and her bad behavior, and then to buy her a house. What? What should I do? What should I say? The thought of going about the rest of my life with minimal contact with my parents crushes me. But I don't want to sit back and watch this car wreck. My parents did tell me I had valid points to take into consideration, but I think they will try to go through with this just to get her out. I told them that getting her a house won't change anything. She's still planning to treat them like crap. In all honesty, this is all in the early stages. They haven't even contracted a bank to see if they will be approved. I think they will be laughed out of a bank, but who knows? I'm pretty scared. I know that this is a mess that someday I'm going to have to deal with as power of attorney. The fact that they even think this is a good idea and want to go through with it, whether they can or not, makes me question everything. My older sister found out that my younger sister and I are extremely disapproving and are trying to talk our parents out of it. She knows we don't like her, so what did she do last night? Grab a steak knife and threaten to slit her wrists. A temper tantrum. This is not uncommon for her. My little sister told them she was going to call the cops, but my parents begged her not to because then they will take my niece away. Honestly, that might be the best thing for her. My parents said they are doing this for my niece, for her to be close by, and that you're not a mom so you don't understand. I understand helping your daughter. I was fine with her moving into their house in the first place, just had concerns. Now they are doing everything for her. She's 30. It's time to grow up. I don't even know what to do. I'm at the point I should just sit back, and if it happens, it happens. It doesn't concern me. I'll just clean up the mess after they are gone. Is there anything I can do? What would you do if you were me? You've said your piece, and that's it. They are adults, and it is their money. Just live your life and move on. If it does crash and burn, don't be a sounding board for their troubles. Stop them tactfully and let them know you gave your concerns before all of this and will not have conversations concerning this matter further. Update. I'm going to just let go. If this happens, then it happens. I've talked it over with my sister, husband, and grandma, and we all have decided to step back from this. My younger sister still wants no contact for now, and that's her choice. I will be minimal. It's not us versus them. It's being worried about my parents. My mom and dad both have health issues, and I don't want this to crush them. I do love and worry about them. They are all adults. While it's not the brightest decision, it's theirs to make. My parents have involved all three of us for a long time in problems and decisions that we shouldn't have been in, even as small kids. Maybe that's why they felt the need to tell us all this. Maybe they shouldn't have, at least not yet, or until they at least met with a bank. As for me being power of attorney, I'm also the executor of their estate. If this goes through, I will tell them I want to meet with their lawyers and figure this all out. I will decide then if I want to continue. Damn, I need to see a therapist. Update 2. First things first, my parents did not ever do a down payment on a house for her. They told her to go do some research and see what she can get as far as a loan, and every bank told her no, which is what I figured might happen. The most delusional thing is, she still thinks she can afford it and still keeps looking. I asked my parents about it recently and they said, yeah, we screwed up saying we could do that. She can't ever afford a house. I asked about helping her find an apartment, and that never goes anywhere. She seems very content verbally mistreating my parents in their home, and they let her, so no change there. One thing that happened was the 5 of us, younger sister included, went into family therapy. For a while it was just my parents and older sister going, trying to work on their dynamic as they are the ones who live together and battle a lot. When I did go, it helped me a bit. He made me realize that I really shouldn't hate my older sister as much as I should be more angry with my parents. They are the ones who didn't protect me from my aggressive sister. He also paired us up. Each person in the family had a partner that they were to go to when problems happened. Someone to vent to, and that person was to have the other person's back in arguments, no matter how wrong they may have been. I was paired up with my older sister. It was exhausting, but I really tried my best. As things usually happen, she came to me with everything, and yet I never went to her. I never told her about my problems. She called me every single day to talk about hers. One family session, the therapist brought up that everyone in the room has problems. All of us are depressed. All of us have combative PTSD. Some have anxiety. My mother is an active addict. My father is a narcissist and a-hole, and he just doesn't care. My older sister has borderline personality disorder. It doesn't make any of us bad. It's just who we are because of our trauma. He wants us to seek individual therapy outside of seeing him. He then asked who is actually trying the tools he has taught us to communicate, and I was the only one who answered. He told us that some of us were on the verge of pulling away, and some of us are even on the verge of dying. Pretty serious crap for our last session, right? Yeah, you read that correctly. It was our last session. The next week, we got a group text from the therapist breaking up with us, telling us that I am only able to work on a few clients right now, as I am having personal problems. So people could die, but oh well. No recommendation for another therapist, nothing. Just a be kind to one another, and let's pick up again in the fall. Needless to say, we haven't been back. Also, my older sister is adamant that she is perfectly normal, and that his diagnosis is wrong and wants his license for it. My younger sister did get married this past weekend. The only drama was from my older sister. One thing I never mentioned in the original post was that my older sister, for years, has never stepped her boundaries with my husband. She will flirt with him, try to cuddle with him, jump into his arms, and more. I have told her repeatedly to stop, and she hasn't. She has gotten creepy over her infatuation with him. I told her last time she overstepped that if she is even to hug my husband again, she and I are done. Well, she crossed the line at the wedding. I sternly told her off, quietly, and then she proceeded to have a crying, screaming hissy fit at her table. We are done. I told my parents I am no longer going to their house, and that includes holidays until my sister is gone. I will not enable them and her by visiting anymore. My parents are more than welcome at my home, but she is not. I will not let my husband be uncomfortable anymore. So, there is that. I am feeling guilt over the fact that I won't see my niece as much, or at all, because of cutting my sister out, but I have to protect my home. I'm going back and forth on the decision, because of my niece. I feel as though I made the right choice, but could I be wrong? It's not fair to her. She needs, somewhat, stable people in her life, and if I leave, it's gone. I'm at a loss. I haven't done therapy for myself yet. I'm scared to do so. It's a lot of crazy in my closet that I don't really want to relive. It's all a mess. Any thoughts? Did I do the right thing? What do I do to help my mom, dad, and niece without compromising my decision?